In this very short module, we outline some of AAI's technical and hardware requirements to make it easier for administrators to scope the architecture. These requirements are particularly strict and nothing here comes as a surprise. We recommend dedicated systems for each component and appropriate levels of system resources for each. We'll discuss scaling the environment based on processing volumes and then expected values for each resource: CPU, memory, drive space, table space sizing, and so forth. First, we recommend dedicated systems for each component. You may run into environments where the AAI server and database are hosted on the same system, or where the connectors are installed on the scheduler system, especially in small-scale environments. While this is technically possible, it's not something our engineering or customer support teams recommend. This is our recommendation. Have a dedicated system for the AAI server, deploy the database to a DB host, then dedicate a system to the report server and each of the connectors. Connectors are surprisingly resource intensive, and co-hosting several connectors on the same system is inadvisable. This is true for both framework-based connectors like Control-M and Atomic, and Tomcat-based connectors like IWS. Regardless of your preferred approach, we would never install one or more connectors on the same host as the AAI server. It's also unlikely that the administrators of the systems hosting the schedulers will let you install connector components on their hosts. Therefore, it's best to have a dedicated system for each connector. If you have supervision agents installed on the AAI component hosts, you should disable CPU supervision for these agents, since all components will routinely saturate CPUs with 100% usage. These occurrences are brief, but they will be frequent, meaning products like Tivoli and ServiceNow will generate recurrent alerts, or worse, kill the processes, even though there's nothing wrong with AAI. You should definitely download and consult the sizing worksheet from our documentation. This Excel document served as the basis for this module. You'll be able to enter anticipated job volumes and determine the best approach for defining system specs. Simply search for the topic, preparing for the installation. You should also follow the compatibility matrix, which is accessible in the documentation. Look for the topic compatibility information. Some items like supported databases are self-evident. Others, like Linux distributions, less so. It is vital that administrators follow these recommendations for production systems. Let's look at the AAI server requirements. We're provided two numbers based on job volume estimates, 10,000 and 500,000 annually. Ultimately, you should use the sizing chart to size your systems accurately. The number of cores should be at least 5, irrespective of volumes. Memory should be around 10 gigs for 10,000 jobs and 65 for 500. Use the AAI log to identify potential issues with memory usage. As a rule, usage should be closely supervised on all hosts. Storage requirements around 50 gigs. All AAI products are Java intensive, and Java mempool sizing is vital. We recommend checking your VM settings and making sure you're setting the range between 4 and 8 at a minimum. Finally, database sizing is as follows. Oracle has 2 table spaces, data, whose range should be set between 2 gigs for 10,000 jobs and 90 for 500, index with 4 and 180 respectively, as well as the temp directory with value sets between 1 and 23. For SQL Server, the 2 storage directories should be set as follows: data 13 and 624 gigs, and log 7 and 312. Next, we look at the other components. The connectors are resource intensive, which may seem counterintuitive. They require 4 CPU cores, memory should be set to 16 gigs irrespective of volume, and storage requirements are about 100 gigabytes. The reporting server processes very large amounts of data dynamically and uses a ton of resources. CPU cores should be set to a minimum of 4 for 10,000 jobs and 8 for 500. Memory should be set to 16 and 32 respectively, and this is where memory may run out unexpectedly, and so it's important to keep an eye on this. Storage requirements are 50 gigabytes. Again, sizing the Java VM mempools is critical. There are other requirements you should be aware of. These are addressed in the various admin offers we have, but we'll mention them again. All of your components require Java, and you should install the Oracle Java Development Kit 1.8, which is officially supported. OpenJDK is not supported, and the JRE does not work for a number of reasons, such as the missing Java WS command, which is needed to start the client on Unix. A number of ports have to be open in a firewall, such as the HTTP and HTTPS ports for AAI. The connectors need to communicate with the respective schedulers. For example, the framework-based connector needs to communicate with the atomic host port 8088, which is the default REST API port, or whatever port you've assigned to it. The report server's default port is 8090, which has to be opened for AAI. Keep in mind that AAI might be integrated with domain management solutions like EEM. Broadcom recommends using a replicated copy of the database for the report server, as using the same database can impact performance of the AAI service.